Now imagine being a hideous Tren de Aragua flunky, thinking you and your pals were going to make a quick 20K, 30K in cash just for a drug drop. That was going to be easy, right? All you had to do was get your boat carrying the deadly stuff to U.S. soil. But then, hello, plans abruptly changed. Under President Trump's orders, the Pentagon took out a Venezuelan drug boat that was cutting through the Caribbean. 11 suspected narco-terrorists dead.
You see the bags of drugs all over the boat, and they were hit. Obviously, they won't be doing it again, and I think a lot of other people won't be doing it again when they watch that tape. They're going to say, let's not do this. We have to protect our country, and we're going to. Venezuela's been a very bad actor.
This action saved countless American lives, but of course the left hates Trump so much that they're actually defending the drug lords. One law professor says the strike violated fundamental principles of international law. Another professor writing that drug trafficking is a crime, not an act of war, and traffickers should be arrested, not executed. Here to discuss is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, I know you were a JAG officer in the Navy. Is the president on solid legal ground here?
100%. These drug cartels are responsible for killing hundreds of thousands of our fellow citizens over the years, and especially as they went to things like fentanyl. You can bust a relatively small bust of fentanyl, and that's enough to kill 10,000 people or 50,000 people. We've had busts in Florida where there was enough fentanyl to kill 10 million people. So the stakes are very high. Americans have been killed because of this. And in Florida, when we catch people who have dealt drugs to people who've died, we charge them for murder because that's what they're doing. So I think the president is absolutely within his rights to do it. I think the fact that he's shown he's willing to do it is going to be a really important deterrent because, when they're running drugs, they know they can make a lot of money. They know there's a risk they could get arrested. They're on U.S. soil, so they make that calculation. Now they know they could be on the working end of some heavy artillery. I think some of them may make a different decision going forward.
Yeah, that was my question, especially given what we know about at least some elements, Governor, in the Mexican government being bought off, paid off to look the other way with the cartels. Cartels have enormous political power all throughout Mexico. And I think this is as much about that, sending a message to the cartels, future traffickers, and any political elements in Mexico. We mean business.
Yes, I mean, the president of Mexico is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the cartels. They're not doing what they need to be doing to be able to prevent and interdict all the fentanyl that's flowing in their country. Now, I do think under President Trump, he's done a lot to stop that. But, this is a very difficult thing to be able to do. But I've always been supportive of military being able to go in to defend the country from what is effectively a narco invasion and was in very high swing under Joe Biden. It's much better dealt with under Donald Trump. But this military element, I think, is critical. If you actually want to solve the problem, you got to be willing to do it. And the president's right. And the American people are going to be safer for it.
Yeah, Kash Patel, Judge Jeanine, they both announced a big interdiction on U.S. soil today. That was huge as well. But Florida made a major MAHA announcement today. Watch.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them.
Governor, the left, Democrats, public health advocates, many of them are going absolutely crazy over this. My question to you is why now? Why lift any mandate beyond just the COVID mandate?
Well, first, we believe in informed consent and we believe in parental rights. Those have been core principles that we've operated on both during COVID and after COVID. Now, what the Surgeon General pointed out today is there are actually some mandates in Florida regulatory that never even made it into statute through his agency, long before I was governor, long before he was Surgeon General. So he has the ability to peel those back. He also has the ability, which he's doing, to expand the religious objection to include moral and ethical concerns about it. And so we feel that's empowering people to make the right decisions for themselves and for their families. And as a parent, you shouldn't be penalized. Right now in this country, you go in for a surgery, some places won't see you if you haven't had the COVID shot or certain immunizations. Some pediatricians discriminate based on whether you've done hepatitis B or not. And that's not informed consent. When there are coercive impacts, when they're trying to coerce choices and there's negative impacts, then that undermines your ability to choose. So I think it's typical. Everything we did during COVID, they screamed bloody murder on all of it. The reality is we've always been for informed consent, and we've always been for parental rights.
Well, we're going to be following this, but the cries of anti-science, I've heard those before, Governor. I've heard those many times before, and the skeptics ended up being the correct ones. Governor, thank you as always. Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.